Welcome back to Top 5 Auto Repairs. In today's topic, I'm going to show you guys how to remove a rounded or stripped oxygen sensor. So the first common problem why oxygen sensor always strip is number one is going to be rust, and number two is going to be using the wrong hardware to remove the oxygen sensor. It is important to use the proper tool for the right job. For example, what I have here is a oxygen sensor removal tool. So basically, you slide the tool over the wire and onto the oxygen sensor, and this is going to grab onto the oxygen sensor. You can also use a deep one as well. It's going to work the exact same way to remove that oxygen sensor. Using an oxygen sensor tool does not necessarily mean that the oxygen sensor will not strip. As you can see here, there's quite a bit of slack right there. And if that oxygen sensor is extremely rusted, and when you're applying force on it to remove it, it's going to cause it to strip. So again, using an oxygen sensor tool is not a guarantee that the oxygen sensor will not strip. Also, I see this happen pretty often. If you're going to remove the oxygen sensor and use a wrench, you got to make sure there is no slack when removing it. As you can see, this one right here, there's literally no slack at all and extremely tight. So there's a very low chance that this will strip. However, if you use an open-end wrench and you end up stripping that oxygen sensor, I'm going to show you guys some of my favorite methods to remove a rounded or stripped oxygen sensor. Before you begin, first start your engine and let it idle for about 15 minutes. You want to get that exhaust extremely hot. Afterward, turn off your engine and spray a lot of penetrating oil. And make sure you spray a lot of it and let it soak in there. Once you let it soak for about 10 minutes, then I'm going to show you guys how to remove the oxygen sensor. Since you're going to remove that oxygen sensor, you might as well just cut that wire and make your life easier. So get yourself a cutter and just snip off all the wires like that. Once you snip it off, you see this part over here. Get yourself a cutter and cut it right off. Once you got this part cut right off, go ahead and get yourself a 6-point socket. Most likely it's going to be a number 22, or you can get yourself a deep socket, number 22. And what you want to do is you want to fit it over, and since it's rounded, you might have to tap it in there. Once you tap it in there, get yourself a ratchet and just go ahead and just ratchet right off. If a number 22 millimeter socket doesn't work, for example, let's say you put it in there and there's still too much slack right there, well, use one size smaller. For example, switch over from a 22 millimeter to a 21 millimeter. And once you get it over, go ahead, tap in there again and ratchet it right off. If that doesn't work, try the next method. Go ahead and get yourself a vice grip and just clap it on there really good. Make sure you just adjust it to the desired grip and clamp it really good like that. Once you clamp it really good, you can either just try to turn it to break it off, or you can just use a hammer and tap it off. And if that doesn't work, go ahead and get yourself a pipe wrench. You can use a 12-inch pipe wrench or a 16-inch pipe wrench. Again, just put the pipe wrench over this and twist it right off. And you're going to have a very high chance of removing the oxygen sensor with a pipe wrench. The next method is to use a box-end wrench. So again, just slide a box in over here, and that should have a pretty good grip on it. As you can see, there is literally no slack at all. And if that doesn't work, use a torch. So basically what I recommend is using MAPP gas. So basically MAPP gas is going to be a very good torch to remove the oxygen sensor. So as you are heating it up, do not heat directly on the oxygen sensor, but heat up around the oxygen sensor. And once you get it pretty hot enough, let's just use any method. You can use a vice grip, you can use a box end, you can use a oxygen sensor tool, and so on, and it should come right off. And if that doesn't work, go ahead and get yourself a wrench that you're planning to dispose or to not use again, and go ahead and start welding the oxygen sensor to the wrench. That's going to guarantee that it's going to fit tightly, and you could just wrench it right off. In most cases, the oxygen sensor is going to be located in a very difficult position, and it's going to be kind of hard to use some of these methods. So let's just say, for example, if the oxygen sensor is on the exhaust manifold, and let's just say you have no access to it, you probably have no choice but to remove that exhaust manifold and try to remove the oxygen sensor with the exhaust manifold out. I hope you found this video useful. As always, thank you for watching and subscribe to Top 5 Auto Repairs.